Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kortiwada. In this video, we will learn about adding a new address in our address management system. In our previous videos, we have covered how to bind our reactive forms with our HTML to create a address management system. And now what we'll do is just we'll try to add the extra addresses into our address management system. Let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. Here previously we have created one register address as a form group, and inside this form group we have addresses, and by default we have only one address for this addresses array. Now what we will do is we will add one button to our HTML content. Let me add button, and let me use something like add address and also type as button. So I have created this add button. Now let me check that. So we have add button, and let me place this add button on the right side. So use a div, and for this div let me create a style as display flex justify content end, and inside this div let me paste this button. Now the button will be moving to the end of that screen, and you can see here. Now I want to add one event for this, where whenever I click this event, then that form array will be having one extra address with all these fields in that. So add address, this is my method. Let me define this method in my TypeScript. So go here, define this method, and in this method, what we want to do, just we want to add our whole group of elements into this address. So how can I do that? Already I have typecasted that into a form array using this variable, this dot addresses as form array dot push. There is a method called as push, and inside this push I want to push all these form group details. Let me copy and paste here. So now I'm pushing whole the group with all the fields, but this time my form control value should not be equal to 1. Why? Because it should be always plus 1 of the previous one. So I can use this dot addresses for as form array dot controls dot length. What are my controls? Previously it is 1, and I should have plus 1 now. So let me save this, and also let me save this. Go back, clear, and click on this. You got one more address details, and you got one more address details too. Now what I will do, just I'll fill these values Sai Kumar and Sai @gmail.com, and don't give the space here. Let me use Hyderabad, Telangana, Bodupal, and Chengichella. Let me use Hyderabad 1, Telangana 1. I can give any values, Bodupal 1 and Chengichella 1. And here let me give Hyderabad 2, Telangana 2, and Bodupal 2, and also Chengichella 2. Let me click on submit. So if you see here, we have one name, one email, but three addresses which consist of all the ID, city name, state name, and street name. If you open this, we have ID1. ID1 indicates the first one, which contains Hyderabad, Chengichella, Telangana, Boduppal. And if you see the second one, we got all the second updated values. And if you see the third address, you got all the third address details. So that's how we can add a number of addresses into our address management system, and we can send all this data to the backend whenever we want to save the data. Now, just a small change here. What I want to do here is, first thing, we are adding one address by default when our application is loaded. I don't want to do that. Why? Because now we got a add address button. Whenever the user want to add it, he will be adding, otherwise it will be empty. So I can just comment this and save this. Now you can see you will not have any default address. On clicking on the add address, you will be getting one address. And also there is one more problem. If you see this code and the code which we wrote here, they are equivalent. That means same. So I can remove this code, and I can make it as an empty array by default whenever the application is loaded. And on clicking on this add address, we are adding n number of times this group. But if we want to remove some group or add at some particular time, then we cannot reuse this. We should always copy and paste this. Instead, I'll try to create a method like get address form group, and this is of type form group. And here just I'll try to return the same logic which I wrote here. Cut this and paste here. Now in this case we are returning whole form group, and whenever I call this get address form group, all this form group will be called or returned. So here instead of using all the code, I'll use something like this and with this keyword. So now we are making it simplified. We can use this group in the future whenever we require it. On clicking on other button or doing some XYZ operations, we can use this form group as a individual function and can be called wherever we require. That we call it as reusable functionality, and it is doing only a particular task. Let me go back, clear it off, and let me check again. Add. You can see here address details, and now let me give Sai Kumar at the rate Gmail, and let me give Hyderabad, and let me give Telangana, and let me give Bodupal, Chengicherla, and let me give Hyderabad 1, Telangana 1, and Bodupal 1, and submit. If you see here, we got all the fields of that addresses which we have entered in this UI. And also in the next video, if the user clicks on add address by mistake and he don't want to add the address for now, instead of sending empty values, we should provide a capability to delete that particular address. So whenever the user clicks on a delete button, that particular address should be removed from our address management system, and it should not be in the API call because he don't want to insert that value. So that is how we will be checking in the next upcoming video. Hope you like my explanation. If you like my explanation, please like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.